Hello, it's so great to see you. It's Cami with Smart Social Secrets Tips. I'm so glad to be here with you today and to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is your brand voice and how very, very important it is to build your brand voice and, and put that into your marketing. So brand voice is one of the most important things that you need to build as an asset for your business. So let me just jump right in to what I'm going to talk about today because I really want to go through a checklist of things that voice. So let me share that with you right now. And here's where they are. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is what I call the big brand myth. And we'll talk about that in a minute, what that is. And then the second is strategic attraction. So it's not that people are attracted to you because you are shouting your messages, but because of the strategic things you do to draw them to you. The third thing is content that connects. And that's really important that that content be exactly what your ideal prospect is looking for. And then blueprint brilliance, which is a cool thing that I'm going to be doing next week that I want to invite you to, which is really around getting your brand voice in place. And so those are the things we're going to talk about. I'm going to be really concise with you today because I know everybody's busy. I am too. So I wanted to talk through each one of these and give you some ideas. So the first one is really about the brand myth. And that is that as small, solopreneurs or consultants and coaches, which is what I do, that don't we don't have that ability to have a big brand. We're just ourselves. So we talk about our personal brand, right? And our personal brand is definitely part of our brand for sure. But part of the brand is the understanding of the audience to know what you offer them that will help them. So it needs to be this brand that you have. So I think a lot of times we get confused by that and think, oh, well, that's only for, that branding stuff, only for big, huge brands. But the way, and we can talk about the way you look too. So I'm going to talk a lot about content today. Part of that is yourself, how you present yourself, what you look like, the colors that you pick for your branding. Are they consistent? Do people know when they see that it's you? Are people really clear that what you offer is under this banner, right? So that's the first thing, is really just understanding that you do have to brand yourself, especially in the environment that we live in today, because so many people are out there. And I saw a statistic, and I should have pulled it, but can't. Statistic would think that more than 50% of the working population will be working in consulting type of jobs in the next decade, which is crazy. That means that more than 50% of all the workforce will be in this area. And now, is that going to happen exactly that way? I think it could, to be honest with you, with gig work and everything else that we've seen. I know that that could definitely happen that way. So that's really important that we have those brand elements in place that show who we are, that show what we are. And we know lots of people that have done this. I mean, there's a lot of people that have a specific voice that they use. And that's really what I want to focus on today, is that voice. I think about Gary Vee. I think about Marie Forleo. I think about some others and there's many others I can think about too, but those are the ones that come off right off the top. Those elements in your voice that you are and what you do. And so that is something I today. And also, just as a little pre-warning, next week on Tuesday, I'm going to do a free workshop. So everything I'm going to be talking about today will be in that free workshop, but actually we're going to do it. Like, we're going to actually make sure you get your brand voice like ironed out, like all of it. I have an amazing worksheet. I have some AI prompts that can help you too, to have AI like prompt you to start thinking about it. Because I know one of the hardest things, especially for consultants, is for us to talk about ourselves. It's much easier to work with clients. It's much easier to go out there and help those clients than it is to kind of do it for ourselves. So this is what this is what I want to really work on over the next week or so with you today, kind of introducing you to it, giving you the concepts. You can definitely do it on your own, but next week I'm doing a free workshop and I would love to have you there. So that being the case, let me go to the second part. So the second thing that you need to be looking at is really this idea of strategic attraction and there and talk to people behind what we're trying to accomplish. And I am like looking like I am frozen, but hopefully you can see me. Okay, there it is. For me, it just came back. So that strategic attraction is so important for you and your brand, and that is really the crux of this. It's like goes all the way to the heart of it. So a lot of times, we think, what are we going to talk about on social media? What can I talk about? I'm busy. I have clients. I have work, I have other things I need to do, and I can't really see how I'm going to have the time to spend all day, every day, going out there and just promoting myself. And that feels icky. That feels icky to me too. I don't like it either. Um, I don't like that feeling of like, oh, I have to go out there and promote myself. Well, this actually helps lessen that. So once you strategy is defined, then that will add amount of things that you have to do on social media. 100% that's what's going to happen, because you will be clear about exactly what you're trying to accomplish. And by the way, that will then draw people to you. So that brings people to you because you are speaking their language. So in the end of the day, that's what you want. You want to draw the right clients to yourself because yeah, there's going to be people that say that's not for me and they kind of move on, and that's fine too. So that's the other part. You're going to attract and you're going to repel with your brand. And I know some people really get freaked out about that. They're like, I need to have enough clients. I need to have enough things going on. I don't want to like repel anybody. But the bottom line is if you don't do that, what happens is that you don't actually attract anyone. That's the problem. Just and then people that are like maybe your friends online or maybe they engage with you online, but they don't know what you do, then you also, might find yourself spinning your wheels because you're always out there, promoting and doing there, and nobody actually takes advantage of that with you. So that is the second part is that strategic attraction. So you have to understand exactly what the problems are of your audience. And like, I mean, intimately, like totally understanding it. So for example, I work a lot with coaches and consultants that work in public relations, marketing, kind of the creative disciplines. And one of the things I know about us and me, because I'm one too, is that in the end of the day, as much as we will help you promote yourself, we'll promote our face off for you. We will help you promote that. And by the way, we're going to be promoting your stuff on our channels too. And guess what? Then we don't have time or we don't set aside time. I should say that, take some responsibility. We don't set aside time to do our own marketing for our own self for a lot of reasons. One, we're very, very busy. Hopefully. We have lots of clients, and if you don't have enough clients, you're very that happens for me a lot too. So that's the thing is that you're going to be very busy, you're going to be very whatever, and you don't end up doing the things that you need to do for your own branding. And that is really just a thing. Like it's a cobbler's shoes problem. It happens all the time, even if you're the best marketer for yourself out there, because I know lots of you out there are very good at this. What I'm talking about, we often will find ourselves not doing all the things that we should be doing, and that is just the thing that we have to get over. And the only way you can get over it is to have a plan. You have to have a plan, and you have to be clear about your branding and clear about what your message is, so that strategic attraction will then kick into place. Okay, so that brings me to the next one, which was that content that connects. And I'll pull this back up again. I need like a little button. There's a lot of people have these cute little buttons. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. I like that there. Okay, cool. So content that connects is really important to your brand as well, because that content that you're creating has to connect with the person that you're trying to reach. And so again, I know everybody says niche down, and I've talked a lot about, you don't have to completely niche down, and I think that's true, but you definitely will attract somebody who then will niche themselves into your market. I guess you want them to niche themselves in. You're not declaring their niche. They're declaring their niche. I'm interested in this. I want to have this. So I don't know if that resonates for anybody, but let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you. But you want to have that content that's attracting them in. And part of that is creating your content strategy and your pillars. So that means you're not just talking about everything under the sun, but you have a very structured way of looking at that. So I'm an old school blogger. How many are old school bloggers here? Probably not many. but I'm an old school blogger. And one of the things that you do when you create a blog, and I don't mean just a post, but I mean an entire like site, is you create categories for your content. And the reason you create for your content is because the apps that are crawling the internet are looking for themes. They're trying to put you into a bucket. Like, so even if you don't want to put yourself in a bucket, the electronics are trying to put you into a bucket. And then they'll take that information and they'll promote that for you to people that they think would be interested in what your bucket of content is about. So that is the same for our human brains. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which one, we try to categorize things. We try to put things into a bucket. And so because of that, we also need to make that our underlying strategy, or our underlying strategy, yeah, for our content. Our content has to be that connecting content, and the way it connects is by putting it into what I call, content categories or strategies in that way. So that's what we're going to be doing like next week. I told you we're going to be having that live workshop, and that live workshop, which I have the little link at the bottom of this slap sensitive. So yeah, all that. And I'll put it up here too. But those are really important for you to do, because you have to have those categories in order for people to understand who you are, what you do, how you do it. And so, yeah, we're going to definitely do an entire workshop next Tuesday where I'm going to walk you through it bit by bit, like you're going to actually do it while we're on the call together on the Zoom. So that is what we're doing with that. So that's three. We got to three. So the first one was the big brand myth. Yes, you are just as important. It's just as important for you to have a brand as a big brand. And the reason why that brands do that is because it makes it easier for them to put all of their marketing around it. That colors, that content, that's type, that's what people should expect from you. People need to know what to expect from you. Then when that happens, then you can start to strategically attract them to you. And no, you don't have to necessarily niche down, but you have to put out content that attracts people to you. That's what you need to do. And then the third thing is content that connects. And that really is about our whole content strategy, as far as like how you will, structure your content. And by the way, when you do this structure, it makes it so much easier to make content, like so much easier. Like if I ask you a question about something in your expertise, it's going to be easier for you to answer that question than it is for you to come up with, like, what would people think about that? Like those questions are really, really helpful. And if you've pre-thought out what those are, that makes things so much easier. Like we create content, like lots of content in a very short amount of time. In fact, I was reading, and I do this a lot. By the way, I go out and I go into other forums and I listen to what other people are saying about their struggles with content creation. And I heard somebody say that they had gotten their whole content categories down and ate all that content. Like that's really hard. So we're going to actually address that next Tuesday, as well as like, what do you do once you have your ideas? Where do you go from there? I'm going to address that next week too. And then that's really what that fourth piece is that I'm going to tell you today, is this blueprint for brilliance, which is this brand voice blueprint. And that is coming up next week, as far as like step by step, I will take you through how to do that. So I hope that you will decide to come, because I really think that you should have a brand that people love, that people are attracted to, that people want. And I want to help people that are, especially us that are out here on our own trying to make our brands work. Even if you're a small business, you can feel free to come to it. It's very geared towards consultants and coaches next week, but you'll get something out of it too if you're a smaller brand. That is what we're trying to do, is to create a brand for you that will actually resonate with someone and attract people to you. So you're not always standing on the corner begging people to pay attention to you. You have something that attracts people in. And I hope that you will join us with that. Certainly, I'm going to see if there's any comments, but let me know if you have any questions. I see that there's people watching, but nobody's asking any questions. But if you do have questions about this, let me know and I will definitely answer them. And but if you will join me next week, I would love, love, love to have you come next week and we will actually get it done for you for free. I'm just doing it because I really do feel strongly. And it is a part of my Smart Social Mastery membership. So every quarter or so, we have an open house, and that's what I'm doing, this open house for you. And so it's free for you for that time. But we have an ongoing group that does this on a regular basis. We work on the other parts of the visibility chain after that. So then what do you do with that? So that is what we're doing next week. I hope you join us. Take advantage of this. I mean, it's a very valuable, at least worth $197 at least, because I've seen a lot of like exactly this workshop being offered out there for about that price, and this is very advanced. What I'm doing for you next week. So anyway, I hope you join me. And it was great to see you. And I hope that you have a great day. And again, leave your comments. I will answer them. Have any questions about your brand, let me know. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.